What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Guys, before we get going, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for me. Guys, today we're going to talk about prison, the prison jobs, prison hustle, and prison drugs. Okay, so hopefully I can answer some of the questions that some people ask. If I do, awesome. If I don't, my bad. But anyway, okay, let's talk about prison jobs. Okay, and whenever, like, in federal prison, when you go to prison, no matter what you do, who you are, nothing, as long as you're in general population, they will assign you a job. And they range from, you know, cleaning jobs, jobs in the cafeteria, jobs, some people are good with their hands, like electricians or anything like that, so they'll have those jobs. Unicor was the job that everybody always wanted, and that's, you know, Unicor was like, you'll make wood stuff or license plate or anything in bulk that actually goes out to the public, you know. And those jobs you would make, you know, around $200 a month roughly. And all the other jobs, you know, the shit jobs that everyone has to do, you don't make nothing. I can tell you, my job that I was assigned was cleaning showers in our unit or block. And talk about fucking disgusting. I mean, okay, do you know how many, like, my unit alone had like 20-ish people, you know. So you got, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, there's 4 showers, you know, and you have 120 men in there that is missing their significant other, you know, that has been in there for a while. So in other words, beating around the bush, do you know how many freaking babies are swimming around on that damn floor? I mean, it's disgusting. It was, God, between that and like cleaning a bathroom, to me that would be, that was murder, torture. I mean, give me the death penalty automatically. I won't appeal anything, just shoot me up, I'm done, you know. But the way I was with mine is like, okay, I had to do the showers, and you had to do them every day. You know, you had to be up. There was roll call and shit early in the morning, a count, to where they'd come around. You'd have to stand up in your cell, and then they would count, make sure that no one fled the scene last night, and they would open the doors and people would go to their jobs, right? And so you would have to do that every day. Like, you didn't have an excuse, unless if you was deathly sick and had a note from medical saying you can't do shit, you're doing something. But the way I got out of mine is, I think I made $25 a month, right? And, you know, I did that job for like 2 or 3 days. I'm like, dude, this is the nastiest shit I've ever done in my life. I can't do it. So I found this guy. He was in there, and he had no financial help from the outside. He was what they would call indigent, which means they would give the prisons, the institution would give him, you know, soap, shampoo, stuff like that, necessities that you have to have. But he couldn't order anything from commissary. You have to eat the nasty food that the prisons give you if you can't afford it. And I can tell you right now, prison food is not good. I mean, that was some of the nastiest stuff I've ever touched in my entire life. The one that stands out was liver and onions. So you got this big piece of freaking liver that looked like a lung, and they would put a couple onions on it. And I guess people liked it. I couldn't get past the smell. But either way, I'm getting off subject here. But, you know, so if you're indigent, you can't afford anything, right? So I found this guy that was indigent, that was in our dorm, and his job, I think he had to clean the floors and stuff in the unit. And so I offered him $20 a month to clean the showers on top of that. And that's, you know, it's not like I hand him a $20 bill. I ordered him $20 a month in commissary. So when payday hit each month, I would give him a commissary sheet, and he would check off what he wanted, and then I would get him that. You know, because that, I'm telling you, man, could you imagine the nastiness, the filth of prison bathrooms and all this other stuff? And like this same little guy, remember me telling you about Mikey Perna? He was the mafia guy that when I first got there gave me a radio and all that. Well, Mikey is the one that turned me on to this little dude, because he told me about him and said, you know, he has nothing. Well, this guy did Mikey's laundry for him every week, and then Mikey would give him money or a commissary, whatever. So that's the jobs that you had to do in there. And again, they're necessities. They don't let you say, I ain't doing it. Nah, pass me up. You don't get passed up. You have something to do. And like I said, the Unicor, you can't get in Unicor. That shit is years of wait lists. But, you know, so with the jobs and all that, you have that to make money. Then you have your side hustles, which that little dude I was just telling you about that did my job and did Mikey's laundry and all that, that was a side hustle. He did that for extra money. You know, and then there's so many little side hustles in prison that you can do, whether it's cooking for someone, cleaning for someone, doing their laundry, you know, all kinds of stuff. So there's always some way to make money. Tell you, one of the biggest side hustle I had, I was there for like 6 or 8 months. And remember me telling you about Caesar, who was my cellie, who was a shot caller for the Serranos. His best friend, his acquaintance, he was in there and he ran a sports ticket. Well, I got in cool, like I said, I was really good with the Serranos in there. So Flacco, who was in charge of the ticket, the money, the back of it, put me in charge of that dorm. As far as like, I would take bets, I would get their money, and I'll explain what money is in prison. But I would take their bets and all that, then I would turn them into Flacco before the game start, you know, to where he was like, okay, he's got this much going on, and if you win, you would get so much of whatever you won, you know. So and like there's a lot of people that survived on that shit. I mean, they was really good at it. But prison money, and you know, it's not like Flacco could say, hey, here you go, here's your paycheck for the week. You know, it's not like that. So money in prison when I was there was stamps. You guys know the little postage stamps that you put on an envelope, you know, lick the back of it, throw it on the envelope, put it in the mailbox. Those were money in prison. You know, one stamp was 25 cents of yard credit. You know, so if you wanted to go to the store guy and he had a Twinkie that was 50 cents, you had to give him 2 stamps. And that's how that stuff worked. And then another big one was tuna. Is, you know, commissary, you can trade commissary for anything. Commissary is money. But, you know, one of the big ones, at least with the sports betting part, was stamps or tuna. And tuna, it's just big packs of tuna. Obviously not the little metal cans, because you can't have those, and there's a bunch of killers, you know. You can't do that. But the tuna packs were $1 a piece, because they cost like $1.75, $2, something like that. Everything is, you get half. Everything in the store is half of what you're gonna get. You know, so like I said, I wanted a Twinkie, it's 50 cents, or I give them 50 cents, but it's really a quarter is what it would cost me if I get it off commissary. You know, shit like that. So it's called 2 for 1. So that's a huge one. That's how I survived financially. You know, I would have money coming in from the outside, put on my books, but I always had commissary. Like when I went to the hole, I got to take all my commissary with me, the bulk of it. There's some things you can't get. Like you couldn't get like the tunas and stuff like that in there. I don't know who that, I'm getting a phone call. I don't know who that is. I'll call him back later. But anyway, sorry. But the nastiest thing that I've ever seen is like, people always say you go to prison, you know, you can get off drugs. Yes, you can, unless if you have a lot of money. You know, because I can vouch for it and tell you, there is as many drugs in prison as there is up the street. You know, that's just how it is. And a dude that I was cool with, his family member, and brilliant friggin' idea, but his family member would bring in, you know, peanut M&Ms, yellow bag that has all the different colors, the red, blues, browns, all that stuff. His family member would put drugs in little pieces of balloons and make them really small to where they was like that big, the size of an M&M. And then when they would come visit my friend, you know, they would go to the vending machine and say, okay, I'm going to get some peanut M&Ms. And when they get back to the table, they would open up the peanut M&Ms, but in their pocket or purse, they would pull out the bag that they brought from home, which is peanut M&Ms, but there is a few balloons that look like the M&Ms that are full of drugs. And then so my friend would just take, and he'd be eating them, and he would take it, he would swallow them, right? Cool. Never got caught, because if they would have got caught, that could have been a bad situation. That's a charge for her bringing stuff into a federal penitentiary or any jail. You can get charged for doing it at a county jail. But the thing that got me is, you know, he would come back after his visit, he would come back to the unit, and 90% of the time he'd look at me and say, hey man, can I use your cell? And he's like, I just had a visit. So I knew what he was talking about. He had to go make himself throw up, because he would go in and he would gag himself. He would use a toothbrush and put down his throat and gag himself until he threw up all the balloons, right? But the one I'll never forget, and it's just the nastiest shit I couldn't imagine, but his visit ran longer than what it usually did, and he swallowed these balloons full of drugs too early, so they went through his system. So he came back and he tried to throw up. He did everything he could to throw up, and he couldn't. So he had to drink, you know, like vegetable oil that you cook with. Well, he had to drink a bunch of that to make himself shit. and and he was shit. And then he'd have to dig through the toilet in that shit and find these fucking balloons. And I'm like, man, drugs ain't that good. I was like, cut that shit out. But that's how people would get stuff in. You would throw it, you would ingest it, throw it up. If you waited too long to throw it up, you'd have to shit it out and dig through your own shit to get drugs. And, you know, my thing is like, all right, dude, you just shit that out. You went through a pile of shit to get drugs out, and you washed the balloons off. That's cool. But mentally, you're still going to do those drugs knowing you just shit them out of your ass. Do you know how disgusting that is? I mean, come on. But that, I know that I had done a few things in there, and like my mind, like I didn't really do the drugs in prison. I would smoke cigarettes, because, you know, you can do the same with tobacco. People would get tobacco and it'd be the same kind of thing. But I would smoke cigarettes. And what was so bad, I felt like I'm going to hell for it. It's just not like you get 1.25 rolling papers in prison on the commissary list to roll up cigarettes, because they're banned. You can't have them. And I remember a guy I was smoking a cigarette with. We were smoking one. He wanted to roll up another cigarette, and I was in his cell at the time. He pulled out the Bible and ripped a page out of the Bible and rolled his tobacco up in that. I was like, dude, we're going to hell just off principle now. I was like, we've done enough bad shit in our life, but now we're definitely going. You're smoking the Bible. And, you know, it was just, there's so much stuff that happens in there. But yeah, the jobs, I told you what they were. There's a lot of, some maintenance, the unicorn that everybody wanted, and a whole shitload of cleaning jobs in the cafeteria. And now I can tell you something about cafeteria, that is good money, because you can get your side hustle. Everybody wants vegetables. when they're cooking, especially because big thing in there is fried rice. You know, they want an onion or a tomato or a pepper. Well, all those are $1. On hamburger and fried chicken day, you would see people come in with bags of chicken or eating bags full of chicken or hamburgers because they'd be, they'd be snuck through out of the cafeteria into the dorm, and the person that was working the cafeteria that got them in there would sell them to people and make their extra money. So there is side hustles out the ass to do in there. You know, so people that don't have money from the outside coming in, there's always a way to make money. You just have to be willing to take that extra step, or in my boy's case, dig through your own shit. Oh, that's so horrible. Oh my God, it's just something that has scarred me for the rest of my life. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much. That was just about job side hustles and some nasty shit digging. But guys, thank you all so much. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, and you all have a kick-ass freaking day.